What just happened? Will Smith fucking slaps Chris Rock in the face and everyone's in uproar. So was it the right thing to do? Was Will Smith in the right, and is that the correct behavior to do? Because Chris Rock made a joke and the joke was not a good joke, let's be honest. It was taking a piss out of his wife and how she's lost her hair due to her alopecia, and he was likening that to Demi Moore, who plays the role in G.I. Joe, and Demi Moore played a shaved head character. That's just a low blow. It's like what I would refer to as a low blow. It's like, oh, that wasn't a good joke. And you could have the backlash, right? And the backlash is people get pissed off and really angry. And Will Smith got really angry, clearly, as we saw. But the interesting thing, if you watch the footage, is that you see that Will Smith actually laughs at the joke initially. And you can see his wife, Jada, she's not laughing at all. She is pissed. And then a split second later, Will Smith starts walking on stage and slaps Chris Rock in the face. And it was just like, what? When you watch it back, you're like, wait a minute. He was laughing at a joke, but then he goes and slaps him in the face. So it's like, oh, maybe he just saw that his wife was pissed. And that's what made him think, oh shit, I better protect my loved ones. And the reason, so this is the main part of the video I want to get across to you, is empathy, right? So understanding another person. So Will Smith, if you've read his book, he talks about when his mum got punched in the face by his father when he was 9 years old, and he was standing 10 yards away and he didn't do anything. And he said for the rest of his life, he felt like a coward, and he still does. So that being said, what just happened there? So he feels like a coward because he can't protect his loved ones, right? That's how he felt from when he was 9 years old. So carry that into right now. Someone's just disrespected his loved one in the public, right? Now what's he going to do? Because he feels like he's a coward. He doesn't want to be a coward. So that's forcing him, in my opinion, to go ahead and protect his loved ones at whatever cost. And the cost obviously is maybe he's lost millions of fans, because I'm a fan of Will Smith, but honestly, like, my respect for Will Smith was from here. Now it's gone down here. Like, let me talk about what I understand. So I understand why he was angry. I understand that he felt disrespected. I understand that. And if I put myself in his shoes, maybe I would have done the same thing. I don't know. And this is the thing about empathy, right? Like, we can judge the event, but we don't actually know. Like, some people are like, yeah, I would have fucking slapped him. Okay, fair enough, that's you. But for me, like, I'm the person that would deal with shit after like, in that situation, I would have went to Chris Rock after the show and had a firm, assertive conversation. Not raising my hand, but just making him know, letting him know that was not fucking okay. Don't ever fucking do that again. And I would have had that conversation with him, right? That's, in my opinion, how I would have dealt with it as a man, right? That lets the guy know that he fucked up, right? And it also maintains my reputation, like, and also I'm making sure that I'm protecting my wife, right? Like, not embarrassing myself. But that's just me. Maybe you're like, nah, I would have fucking slapped him. Okay, fair enough. I can understand that too. I don't agree, but I can understand it, right? And so having the empathy of, like, putting yourself in another person's shoes. Actually, I had an event that happened 2 weeks ago. I was doing stand-up comedy myself. I do stand-up comedy sometimes. There was this girl in the audience. She was doing an open mic, and she wasn't funny, but she said that she was a comedian. And I just made a joke about that on my first joke when I went up there. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to make jokes and then be serious, just like her. And then no one laughed, and then it was kind of an awkward thing. And she was fucking pissed. She was seething. She was pissed. But then I kept on with my set, and I said a joke that I'm black, so black people can say whatever the fuck we want and still get away with it because we're black, right? So I can call white people racist. I was just joking about, right? Like, I can call Asian people, Filipino, Chinese, they all look the same. And it's just a joke, right? And people started laughing. I've done that joke before. But then she started heckling me at this point. I was like, okay, this is a great time for me to practice my heckling skills. So I asked her, where are you from? And then she said, Mexico. And I said, go clean some toilets. I know that's not the best joke, right? Like, that's, again, a bit of a low blow, right? That's borderline racist, basically racist joke. But I prefaced it before saying I'm black, I can say whatever the fuck I want. So, but people don't get that, especially if they're not into comedy. So in hindsight, yes, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But she was fucking angry, like Will Smith was. She actually came up to the stage and tried to take the microphone out of my hand. And that's what happened. Like, that's like Will Smith going up to Chris Rock and slapping him in the face. So I understand that she was really angry. And actually, the point of me sharing this is that she just messaged me just now about Will Smith's thing. And she was like, yeah, you should never disrespect or humiliate women, innocent women, okay? And I was like, okay, that's her point of view, but that's how she's viewing it, right? She's viewing it as like humiliating them. It's just a joke, right? And she said that she supports Will Smith's actions of slapping the guy in the face. That's where she stands on that matter. That's not for me to judge, right? Like that's her opinion. And so I can understand where she's coming from. I don't agree with it, but she resonates with how Will Smith felt, and that's all that matters for her, right? But here's what I want to say is, where do we draw the line? Like, is it okay for someone to feel disrespected verbally and just slap them in the face? Like, is that okay? Should everyone be doing that? Should we be teaching our kids to, whenever that Tommy guy disrespects you at school, just slap him in the face? And then when they're at the workplace, when they're older, they just do the same thing? Is that okay? You know, like, where is the line being drawn? So this is where I lose respect for Will Smith, because he's a massive role model for millions of people in the world. This is why emotional intelligence and emotional control is so important. Maybe he doesn't care about that. I don't know. I haven't spoke to the guy. But, you know, in that instance, maybe he's like super triggered from his childhood trauma of like seeing his mum get punched in the face by his father, that like in his mind, he's making this event mean the same thing. Like, oh shit, if I don't do anything, I'm a coward. So I got to do something. Maybe that's his motivation. Who knows, right? But this is where understanding human dynamics, like human behavior, comes into play. Is like why people do what they do. There's always a reason, right? Maybe he doesn't care about his reputation in that moment because he can't even think about that, because he's like his primal instinct of protect has kicked in. And I'm all for protecting your loved ones, absolutely. Like I'm a primal guy too. Like, we all are, we're all human, right? But there's ways to do it. And I think when you suppress your anger as well, like Will Smith's a nice guy, right? Like he's always trying to please everyone else. And I relate to that, because he's like, if everyone else is good, I'm good, right? And so he will try to make everyone else good. So you suppress your anger because you want everyone else to feel good, right? You never want to show your dark side. And so what happens is your anger can build up and build up and build up. Like when you're boiling some water and then you got a lid on it, and all of a sudden the water starts boiling up and the lid starts coming off and it just spills over the sides, right? That's what happens with anger a lot of times. And then you just have outbursts of anger like that, which I think that was one of them. And so that's the problem with repressed anger, not knowing how to healthily express anger. There's ways to do it, and slapping someone in the face is just one way, right? It's a physical way, but it's just one way. There's another way, which I would have done after the show, is express my anger verbally and assertively. He knows that he can't do that shit again. Don't fuck with me, basically. And verbalize it. You don't need to slap someone to communicate that, you know? But hey, it is what it is. That's what he did, and he has to live with the consequences of that, wherever they may be. But for me, like, I don't advocate like slapping people when they say something that pisses you off. Like, that's not a mature way to deal with things. That just shows that you don't have the skill set of, you know, learning how to navigate conflict without getting physical. And that's a skill, right? So anyway, I digress. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. I'll talk to you in the next video. Ciao.